students, today we're going to be looking at the Module 3 assignment, Finding a Graduate School Activity, Getting Started. In this assignment, you together are going to be compiling a list of graduate programs in psychology, either in Ohio or across the nation, and describing a little bit about each one so that the class as a whole starts to know about more options for graduate school in this discipline. Now, if you are not a psychology major, you could also select to look up a program in your particular area, say social work, anthropology, etc. So the professor will provide a sample list of graduate programs in psychology or other disciplines that you could review. You are supposed to select one program that interests you and look up the program online or contact someone from the program by email or phone to get the required information below. Each of you will provide a summary for one program that describes these key characteristics. What are the courses that they require for admission? Do they require the general GRE or psych GRE? And what score do you need to get admitted? What is their requirement or recommendation for GPA? Do they require a personal statement? What other things make people competitive? And then these parts you'll put in for you personally. What do you like about this program? What do you dislike about this program? And then talk about whether you think you would be a good candidate for the program, and if you're not currently qualified, what you could do in order to make your application more competitive. So to look at this today, I'm going to show you two different graduate school programs where you might be able to look for these kind of questions. One of those programs is Emory University, which happens to be the course author's alma mater. If you look at the webpage for Emory College in Atlanta, Georgia, they have three graduate programs, one in clinical psychology, one in cognition and development, and one in neuroscience and animal behavior. We're going to look today at the program for clinical psychology, where it describes a little bit about the goals of the program and their objectives. So we can see here a brief overview of their requirements. Now, it also tells you then a little bit on this admission page about who is taking students for next year, the different doctors here, the accreditation for the program, and how to apply. So some graduate programs might have the information you need about GRE and required courses on the actual webpage. Others might send you to the graduate schools list after telling you the different pieces that are included. So, for example, if we look at the resources available for Emory, there are a number of links to different things about the program for you to know. One of which is to follow the graduate school. Oh, that link didn't work, but this one does. That talks about admissions to the graduate school at Emory University for any program. If we look at requirements here, it talks a little bit more about the different pieces that are required. How your transcripts need to be done, your GRE scores, although it does not tell you a particular score that's suggested. All right, your statement of purpose or personal statement, your resume and CV, and letters of recommendation. So sometimes you'll need to poke around a little bit and find out, again, if there are suggested minimums for things like GPA or the GRE, and if not, then you might need to email or call someone to find out if there's any suggestions. In looking at the Emory program, they do not have a suggested GRE or GPA score posted, but they do tell you a little bit here that helps show you how competitive it is. So they linked to how many people applied. You can see in the last couple of years it's about 400 students across all the different programs in psychology, and about 4% of those students are admitted. So this one's going to be pretty competitive. Okay. And then they break down some of their degrees awarded, their student demographics, etc. The second program I'd like to look at today is from the Department of Psychology at the University of Hawaii and Manoa. Who wouldn't want to go to Hawaii, right? Their program actually has on the website some more specifics not only about their master's and PhD program, and you can find out more about each of those programs here, but they helpfully have a link for prospective students on the kinds of things that they require or like to see for their applicants. So they talk about their academic and research experience with giving the GPA that they like to see for admission to the programs at 3.5 or higher, the GRE scores that they like to see, the other things that help make students competitive. So there's a couple of suggestions here, a link to frequent questions, and then when you want to know about applications or the specific programs, the objectives for the programs, those are all helpfully linked right here. So for example, if you wanted to look at a Master of Arts program at the University of Hawaii, it tells you the typical time it takes to completion. It tells you the specific coursework that you would take as part of that degree. And then it also shows you some of the timelines so you know what would be required to graduate with this degree, the Masters of Arts in Psychology at the University of Hawaii. So remember, the websites are going to vary. Hopefully the website for the school gives you the information you need, but if not, getting in contact with someone at the school in order, through the contact button, to ask any specific questions that you can't find listed on the web page would be very helpful. So the Hawaii here lists a number of people you could get in touch with to ask questions. I would say for Hawaii, you might either contact the department chair or the clinical studies person if you are interested in knowing more about their degree.